This is 5 Minute Feng Shui podcast episode 175, the 7 Feng Shui myths that can harm you. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Well, good afternoon or morning, wherever it is you are in the world. I hope you are having a fabulous day so far. I am talking today about myths, and specifically the Feng Shui myths that can harm you. Because, there are some that can bring trouble right to your door. Instead of creating the things that you want, more money, more success, a better relationship, better health, that kind of thing, it brings all kinds of difficulties, and we don't want that. We've got enough things to deal with in life as it is without adding to it, correct? So let's talk today about the Feng Shui myths that are problematic, because there are some. You know, it's interesting, my brother-in-law is in the mortgage business, and he went to a conference not too long ago and told my husband, Katie's onto something. This Feng Shui is a really big deal in real estate. All I heard was people talking about this Feng Shui and that Feng Shui, and it's like, oh yeah, finally, they're catching up. I'm so glad to hear that, because there are so many things that I think realtors could gain by knowing a little bit of Feng Shui and to understand it, and when something is really Feng Shui and when it isn't and it's Feng Shui. But even though it's been popular for a long time, a lot of times we don't think about doing something and making it more difficult for our lives, creating problems, actually drawing difficulties to our lives, and nobody wants to do that. We're always looking at Feng Shui as how can we create an attractive and harmonious home, not create discomfort, not create bad luck, but to create better luck with finances and relationships and our career. And when we think about Feng Shui, we know we're educated, advanced people, but we now know that unseen forces like radio waves, gravity, and even solar flares exert an influence over us in our lives. And we've come to understand that energy is a real living thing, and that the acceptance of qi, that flowing river of energy that resides in our bodies, our home, and the universe, is also real. So it really shouldn't come as a surprise that the energy of qi can exert an influence on us that's either beneficial or detrimental. So if we can accept that there's this unknown energy called qi, and that it can influence us in a positive way, we also need to understand how it can impact us negatively. The problem with Feng Shui today is, though, even though it's more popular than ever, it's created a surge in popularity that's given rise to myths about Feng Shui that can cause more harm than good. Energy isn't something that can be played with without consequence. Much of my business is actually made up of working with clients who have been following some of these Feng Shui myths that have been perpetuated and caused by well-meaning Feng Shui experts out in the world. But we want to always look at what's the truth behind something, because just because something looks good from a design standpoint or it's purported to be lucky, we need to know, is it really lucky? Is it helpful? And if we are doing something that isn't helpful, I want you to know about it. I want you to be able to correct it. So let's talk about these 7 myths that are so important. Myth number 1 is to place a mirror opposite the front door to bring in good energy. Now, I know I have a lot of folks that are in my private Facebook group who are probably listening to this broadcast and are like, yep, I know what she's going to say now. And you're probably going to know all 7 of these myths, but we're going to go over them anyway. And I thank you for listening. But, it's And these folks are awesome folks, and I just love them to pieces. We have such a great group. I just love my group. Anyhow, but they know it's so important that you never have a mirror that's going to push energy out. And when you have a mirror that's opposite your front door, it pushes energy out. It can create a complete cutoff of financial and business related opportunities. And it doesn't matter if it's in a business or a home. A mirror that's placed opposite a door pushes away energy, especially cutting off the energy that enters through it. Because the door is the mouth of chi, the home or business will be literally starved of energy. And time again, I see homes and businesses with a mirror that reflects the front door. And then I see financial difficulties and failures. Make sure you never place a mirror opposite the front door or that reflects the front door. You just don't want to ever have a direct reflection of it. So never put a mirror opposite your front door. Myth number 2, paint your front door red. It's always good feng shui. Well, that's true. Red is wonderful, but it's not true that it's good to put on every door direction. Red is a powerful color, but there are some places where red can cause harm and even total failure. So for instance, a house that faces west or northwest should never have a red door. That's especially true with a northwest facing door. That's because the northwest is often it is associated with the heaven direction and the man or the father of the house, who's often the breadwinner, not always, but whether he's the breadwinner or not, it doesn't matter. We just never want to have any red front door if your house faces northwest, because to do so is to create fire in heaven. This can cause the father to meet with a severe accident, illness, bankruptcy, job loss. If you have a door that faces west or northwest, it's always better to go with a white, a gray, yellow, beige, even a terracotta color. And one of the things that the red door can do as well is if you've got a west facing house and if you put the red color on the door, it can create severe accident, like really major injury, like a massive car accident, a severe injury. And that's because that direction is actually represented by the number 7, and 7 is associated with violence. And then you put the red violence, and then you put actual red color. That we're talking about bleeding and blood and major injury. So we never want to do that, and especially so because it's also the sector of children. So you're protecting your children if you paint your door just about any other color than red. If you have a west facing house, or if you have a northwest facing house, never paint it red. It's just not good luck. In fact, it can bring all kinds of problems. And I know that personally because my husband had both things happen to him, a job loss and a major accident when we moved from one part of the country to another, and we're renting a house, and they had a northwest facing door and it was red. And my husband shattered his leg on the beach and had all kinds of job difficulties. It was really, really hard. So I personally have lived through the front door red is a lucky color. And I even asked the homeowner that we were renting from about the red color, and they said, yeah, because it's supposed to be lucky. So don't do that. All right, myth number 3 is to put mirrors behind the stove because it doubles your wealth and doubles your food. Now, stoves are a part of the fire element, and when there's too much fire, it burns the house down. This is a myth that's been perpetuated because it says that, either you're doubling the food or you're not supposed to have your back to the room when you're cooking because the cook might get scared. I've never been frightened in my kitchen ever. And I bet you haven't either. Placing a mirror behind the stove really just amplifies the fire energy, and that's harmful. If you want to double your abundance this way, it's much better to put a mirror in the dining room to double the food on the table and double the people around it. That is so much better than doubling the flames of the stove. Also, from a personal note, I did that as well. I've done about every myth there is to do. Tim and I argued like there was no end. This was not a good placement. I've actually done that. And that was the biggest mistake. And so I can tell you from personal experience that having a mirror behind your stove really is only going to bring you more problems, not less. And remember, it's always better to have all things in moderation, especially when it comes to either the fire or the water element. We have to be very careful because those are the two elements that are the most destructive. They can also be the most beneficial, but they can also be the most destructive. All right, myth number 4. Use the Bagua or Feng Shui mirrors to push away negative energy. Bagua mirrors are often the type of mirror that are found in Chinese emporiums or Chinese shops that you can that have gift shops, that kind of thing, and they're used typically to deflect or reflect negative energy. Sometimes people will use them like in a T junction that terminates at your door, or like to aim negative energy back to unpleasant neighbors. And these mirrors use yin trigrams, and this is a type of orientating for selecting of graves that was done, millennia ago. And these trigrams can emit strong and harmful energy, and they just really should not be used, even in the most difficult circumstances. That's because when you send out negative energy for graves, it comes back to you. And this is not something that you want to be throwing negative energy to a neighbor. I think that if you wanted to hang just a regular mirror to aim back at your neighbor, that's different than having one of those negative Bagua mirrors. All they're going to do is do a boomerang effect, and nobody needs that. So if you have a Bagua mirror, I would like you to just go take it down, wrap it in some paper, and throw it in the trash. Just throw it away. Don't use it. All right, myth number 5. Put plants and water in the bedroom. This is one of those myths that we have seen on all kinds of design and makeover shows. They say that introducing water and plants in a bedroom is feng shui. And while it is true that water and plants are used in feng shui, they have to be used appropriately. Plants can sap your energy at night and cause romance to fade. Water, especially if it's running, can cause money loss and cause respiratory or sinus problems, depression, or lethargy. So we never want to have water where we can hear water running. Even if you have a dripping faucet, we never want to hear water from the bedroom. It's just never a good idea. And it's especially bad in the bedroom. So we want to avoid plants and flowers in the bedroom unless someone's sick, and never put water in the bedroom. This includes water motifs, especially like big ocean scenes that are painted on children's walls. It can cause illness and a lack of initiative. I've seen that over and over. I saw this one little boy had this lots of problems with asthma, and he had a giant ocean scene. And if anybody will tell you from back in the day when they would send people to different parts of the country, they'd say, you need to go where there's dry air to help with breathing. And so we never want to have a bedroom like big watery scenes, lots and lots of blue color. Some blue color is fine, but we never want to add an actual like water fountain in there. We don't want to see water images from the bedroom. Now, if you happen to have a bedroom that looks out over the ocean, hey, lucky you. That's perfectly fine. But you don't want to have pictures of it in there. The other thing is we never, ever, ever want to have plants in the bedroom because they will kind of sort of suck up your energy, because people are considered earth, and the body is considered is like a sort of a little bit of an earth element. Now, plants are considered healthy, but what happens is plants, their roots go into the earth and use up all the minerals and that kind of thing. And plants are competitive with people. So we don't want, especially in the bedroom situation, we never want to have those plants in the bedroom. Even big motifs of plants, lots and lots of floral stuff. And many people ask, why are flowers not considered to be romantic? And that's because flowers are a yang expression of male expression of a plant, and that's when they burst forth with that beautiful blossom. And what happens is if there's a man in the room or somebody with yang energy, it's going to create a competition, sort of a competitive energy. We never want to have that. So avoid the plants and flowers in the bedroom, even in design. Avoid water. No water in the bedroom. You don't want to even hear water in the bedroom. And so if you've got a fountain outside of your bedroom or a pool that runs, turn that off. You just don't want to hear that. And you definitely don't want to have any kind of water in or like aquarium in your bedroom. It's going to create problems for your health and money loss. All right, myth number 6, hang crystals over doors and windows. Now, this is supposed to move energy in the house, but what it does actually is to suppress energy. Crystals are wonderful, and they have a wonderful earth energy, but when they're hung overhead in a doorway, it becomes like earth overhead, i.e., buried. So what happens when we die and they put us in the ground? They put earth on top of us, and we don't want to be buried like that. No, so we never want to have anything over our head where we're walking with it over our head. This is actually one of the problems that I have with crystals that are hung between a door and a back door. So if you have a house where you open the front door and you can see out a window, or it has a connection to an outdoor or a back door, one of the cures for that is to hang crystals above you. But I'm never really crazy about crystals overhead if we can avoid them. That's just my personal preference. I'd much rather you block the view going out, and then that will stop that energy from zooming out. But one of the problems that can happen is when you have crystals hung in a doorway is that the occupants of the house can suffer from like a lack of inertia and an inability to sort of move ahead, a feeling of stuckness. They may become clutter bugs. They can also suffer from metabolic problems like weight gain. We don't want to have too much heaviness and earth in our homes. That's another point against salt lamps. Salt lamps are another one of those things that it can drain the energy from you. Too much drawing is not good. It's fine if you're a ham, but it's just not a good idea for you to have those lamps on all the time. They're too drawing. And when crystals are placed in windows, they can become a symbolic block. 1 or 2 crystals hung in the windows to catch sun and throw rainbows is very different. It's a good thing. But sometimes when you have crystals that are hung in every window and every door and every corner and whatnot, it becomes too much of a good thing. So, put 1 or 2 crystals up in your windows and let them catch the light of the sun and throw those rainbows across the room. That's the beautiful way to use those crystals. And that way it's not such a heavy energy. All right, myth number 7. We're down here to the last one. And the myth number 7 is that toilets are always bad. And I don't know about you, but I would not want to live in a house without indoor plumbing. Toilets are not a black and white feng shui issue. They have shades of gray. So for me, in my way of thinking of feng shui, toilets are a problem only when they take up the whole sector of the house. This gives them extra emphasis, but they're a great thing to have, especially if we have annual afflictions like the 5 yellow, which is very negative and causes all kinds of problems. So anytime there's a negative flying star energy or annual energy, this is a terrific way to handle that energy because it gets flushed down the commode. We always want to follow that good recommendation that the bathroom toilet the lid should be down, the toilet door should be closed. And if, we want to look at where that sector is, that toilet is, and you're worried about it, you can always add enhancements to that corner of your living room. So for instance, let's say you've got a toilet that's taking up a big portion of the southwest or the southeast sector of your home, and you feel like it's pressing down on your wealth, it's pressing down on your romance luck. Well, you can help that by adding enhancements and beautiful remedies and things that will boost that corner. So I would add a pretty plant in the southeast, maybe for wealth, or maybe you add a fountain or an aquarium. Or if it's in the southwest and the toilet is in the southwest corner, you can add a pretty lamp in the southwest corner of your living room to kind of boost that earth energy. So that's really not a bad thing always to have a toilet. Many times, like I said, they solve problems. And of course, we wouldn't want to live without them. I know I wouldn't. All right, so there we go. 7 feng shui myths. Let's talk about some of the most important ones. And the first one is never place a mirror opposite a front door. It's going to push out all your opportunity. Your house is going to be starved for energy. And tip number 2, never paint your front door red, especially if your house is facing the northwest or west directions. Painting it red if you're in the northeast or the southwest or the south-facing direction, that's fine. But we don't want to paint it red if it's pretty much any other direction other than those three. It's just not a good idea unless you've been advised to by your friendly Feng Shui consultant. And lastly, tip number 3, never use one of the Bagua or Bagua Feng Shui mirrors. All they do is create a boomerang effect of creating bad energy that you send out that comes right back to you. And they do send out negative energy. It's not a cure for problems. Please don't use them. Forget you ever saw them. All right, well, there we go. 7 myths of Feng Shui to get you going for this week. And let me know what you think about this. Hey, in the meantime, go over to Facebook and like my Facebook page if you don't mind. I would surely appreciate it. All you have to do is go to facebook.com/Red Lotus Letter. Just hit the little blue like button. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Or just share this episode if you liked it. Have a great day. I'll talk to you next week. Hey, thanks for listening today. Although the year of the tiger is here, it's come in with a roar, and there's going to be some big ups and downs this year, like the invasion in Ukraine. But I wrote about Putin and some of the other world leaders in the Year of the Tiger Feng Shui Forecast and Success Pack. Now, back in 2021, when I was writing this in the fall, I could see this on the horizon and I warned about it. There's other things that you're going to want to know too, like where to invest your money, where to find love, and what to expect all year. And I cover all houses and bedroom directions and every zodiac sign. The Success Pack will help you be ready for the year, be prepared, make more money, and keep fortune on your side. Check out the Year of the Tiger Feng Shui Forecast at redlotusletter.com/water tiger, all one word.